everybody, and welcome here to another Kerfuffle Showcase. And I am delighted and indeed excited to have with me here today James, the founder of Apex 27. How are you, James?
I'm very well, Simon. Thanks very much for that amazing introduction. I'm very excited to be here as well.
The first of the day, so I've got the energy levels are there. And as I said, if I can't get excited about CRM, you know, when can you get excited?
Indeed.
So let's just frame this then, James. This is a CRM product out there, and probably a few people out there will roll their eyes at that, you know, because there's quite a few out there. But I think that's probably a sign of where we are with actually some of the more established ones, isn't it? Do you want to just give us a brief overview of your background, because of course you've been working within this industry for a long time, haven't you? So
Indeed.
Just give us the kind of idea about where Apex came from, really.
Absolutely. So yet another CRM I think I've heard a few times. So the genesis was from our original prop tech business, which was Drag and Drop Limited. And you might remember we worked together, Simon, with Drag and Drop and your old business. And the idea behind Drag,
I used to love Drag and Drop because it was one of probably the few bits of tech that I could actually understand and both work at the same time. So I think a lot of people would they have known it was Drag and Drop? Most
no,
people,
it probably been called. They would have known it under like Easy Ads Pro.
Okay, yeah.
So that would be the piece of prop tech that most estate agents around the UK would have used to build their old newspaper ads. And in fact, we still have quite a few customers still using it. The newspaper ads are still going, but I think we all saw the writing on the wall a long time ago, hence the reason we wanted to do a pivot. However, that business gave me two really important things. It gave me the capital to start Apex 27, but for me, most importantly, it also gave me access to some really important core team members of Apex 27. Wow. So originally employees at Drag and Drop, and they've now come with me as shareholders into the Apex 27 endeavor. So I started Drag and Drop back in 1999 with my father, who unfortunately passed away in 2015. And then that was it. I was kind of by myself. I was a businessman running a business by myself, and I really missed the comradeship of having other business partners. So when I went forward with Apex 27, I said, no, we're going to get some business partners in, because you know what it's like, Simon. You need people that are enthusiastic, and the best way to make someone enthusiastic is to give them a big slice of the pie. So that's what I've done with the guys that I've brought.
That's absolutely right there. But for any Kerfuffle staff members watching, ignore all of that. No,
fair enough.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. I think it's a really good. And what's beautiful there is, James. I mean, you are obviously right. I mean, again, I have to kind of keep repeating myself that CRM is but CRM is the bedrock of all prop tech, isn't it? Everything comes from it. It's most of the times it's the source of entry for the data and everything else. It certainly collates the data, the contacts, and everything else. I mean, it should be, when it's done right, be the first thing you turn on, actually not even in the office these days, and certainly it's the last thing you turn off, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, we call it, you said the source of the data, we call it the source of truth. Because that is exactly it. You know, that's where the data gets entered once, and hopefully only once, to then be shared across all the other platforms are out there. And I think that's a really important thing as well that we wanted to get across to our potential customers, is the fact that we're an open platform. And it's easy to say you're an open platform. There's lots of other prop techs out there with APIs and webhooks. And
how do you define it then, James? What's your definition?
Well, for us, it's a case of we have the APIs, we have the webhooks, but also what we've got the skill sets to apply to make it easy to connect those technologies, those APIs to other platforms. So for instance, our integrations with DocuSign, Let's Pay, the Smart Search, Credus, they can only come about if you're willing and open to share access to data. And one thing that we were very keen on is making sure that was at the forefront of our technology when we started developing it, which was that openness. We don't charge our customers. I know we're going to talk about business models soon, but we don't charge our customers for having access to those APIs. We don't charge other businesses to take data. It's our customers' data after all. We just want to be that central repository that that agents can then use to add value on with lots of other prop tech solutions. And there's plenty out there to make use of.
Well, yeah, we wouldn't exist if there weren't, to be honest, James. It's whereas most agents kind of go, "Oh God, another prop tech." I cheer when I see somebody out there. It's a bit like Bono when he was clicking his fingers, wasn't it? It's there's a new prop tech company kind of coming to creation. I think what's interesting about you guys though, James, actually, is you're the exact opposite to what most agents, you know, when they're being a bit kind of probably a bit sniffy about prop tech, because as you said, you aren't, you know, of course you've got great techies there, but you've grown up within this industry. You know this industry. You know how agents think. You know, really back to front there. And as you said, bringing that team with you as well, you've got a huge amount of experience there to leverage into a new product, which is, you know, it's starting to get lost. Let's not forget, some of these companies now, they're getting bigger and bigger. There are many people there that haven't served at the, you know, the coal face, as it were.
Indeed. And I think one of the greatest praises we get from our customers is about how easy the platform is to use, because it's not based on technology, it's based on workflows, how they work, how they think. So it's, you know, very simple steps, you know, onboarding applicants, onboarding vendors, getting properties on the system, setting up tenancies. It's all logical, and we make it look pretty as well. And I know that can come across a bit trite sometimes, but I think it's important that whatever platform you're using is actually nice to use. You want to be using something that looks good and feels good. There's plenty of tech out there that does a great job, but it's a bit clunky. It looks a little bit old, a little bit dated.
The workhorses, aren't there? There's a lot of people know the ones we're kind of talking about there. But as you said, yeah, I mean, UI, UX, that whole element there is, you know, it can't be shiny and not delivery. I mean, that goes without saying, doesn't it? But actually working in tandem together, that's really quite powerful.
Absolutely. And taking all of that pretty UI and UX, bundling in with a very powerful workflow, and then opening it up to all of the other prop tech businesses out there, it just makes a really simple solution, and one where you know, agents can build on. It's a framework that can be built upon quite easily.
Great. So answer the big question then. Why is it called Apex 27?
Oh, thanks very much. Well, you know what it's like nowadays. If you're in the internet, if you've got a website, you've got to have a short, punchy name. Apex, pinnacle. It sounded like the top of things. You know, your apex predator, that kind of thing. But of course, apex.co.uk and apex.com were taken a long time ago.
Yeah.
So we thought, okay, let's just throw a number on the end. How do we come up with a number? It was actually on the 27th of March, 2019, I believe, that we decided on the name of the business. So that's where the number 27 came from.
See, now we've got the origin story, everything. I thought it was going to be, I actually even forgot about Apex in the middle. I thought it was going to be something Greek, you know, that was like sort of, okay, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, I like the Apex Predator connotation there. That's cool. And actually, you just mentioned there the date. You're a brave boy, aren't you? Because you launched this company right in the middle, and dare I say, right at the outset of the whole coronavirus nightmare, didn't you?
We did, and do you know what? I actually think that was a good thing for us.
Did it? I was going to ask.
Yeah, let me explain why. I think because, you know, in that we actually launched our beta in March 2020. So that's when we opened it up, and we had like an open beta. People could ask us to come onto the beta, and people had time. And that's the one thing that agents struggled with over the past year, because, you know, things with the market, they had time back then. They had time to look at our platform and give us feedback and help us grow. So do you know what? I think it was actually the best timing for us. And everybody working at home, also other agents who were looking to move and spread their wings and go and do their own thing. We had loads of startup agents sign up with us as well, which was absolutely fantastic for us, because it gave us new agents. And as a CRM person, Simon, you know, one of the most difficult parts of CRM is onboarding customers that have got existing data. So that actually made our initial life a lot easier, because we had a lot of startups. So I think the timing was perfect. I'm not going to thank COVID, because let's be honest, it was and still is a nightmare, but it was actually a good time for us.
Okay, and let's talk about the business model actually, because I think it's really you've gone for a really innovative model, haven't you? There, which I think is well, I'll talk to you about afterwards. But you just want to explain to people how you work it with Apex.
Yeah, sure. So simple. Our business model is the first user is free, and I'll come back to that in just a second. It's a user-based subscription. It's £30 a month plus VAT, and you can grow or shrink your user count at will. So you can add users, you can take users away. It's a really simple process.
And is that a call through to the account manager? Can you do it within the software? How do you?
It's all done inside the software, so it's all self-service. You can sign up for free right now on the Apex 27 website. You can create your own account. You don't need to speak to us to do that. You don't need a demo. You can just get straight onto the software. You can sign up. You can use all of the functionality of Apex 27. We will even set up your exports to Rightmove, Zoopla on the market. We'll even help you create a website, either using our built-in CMS or WordPress plugins or whatever. We will connect to your existing website. There's no charge for that. You can be a startup agent with no money in your pocket, and you can have a complete CRM solution free of charge. Absolutely free of charge.
That's amazing, isn't it? I mean, and it's just such a, first of all, it's putting your money where your mouth is. That's what I love about it, is there. But also, I think you've been really cute, whether that was the intention or not, because of course, the industry model itself is changing, isn't it? With a lot of these associate broker models, individuals out there. So you're tapping into that as well, aren't you, by being able to, and as they grow and they grow their teams, of course, that will be where you get your payback. But in the early days, these people can get on board and get a CRM package ostensibly free of charge. That's incredible to we have such a vital part of your prop tech, your tech stack, free of charge is wonderful.
It's an investment by us, of course it is, Simon. That's what we see it as. You know, that free account is an investment. It's if you're a startup user, if you're a startup agent, let's be honest, you're going to be small. You're not going to be a huge drain on our resources. No. There's going to be some drain there, and that is our cost of user acquisition. I mean, that's a standard fee that any software as a service provider, CRM, has to fork out, be it through marketing, advertising, whatever. Yeah. So that we see that as a cost of doing business, but it's already paid big dividends, Simon. We've already transitioned a lot of free users onto paid accounts because they've grown, because they've done well as agents, and their business has grown, and they've needed admin staff to come in. But I think the most exciting thing for us is the referrals that we get from those free user accounts.
Well, so, this is, I mean, we actually, as you said, we knew each other, but where I again poked like a meerkat, I started paying attention, was I always famously missed the point of a lot of tech companies out there. People have to explain it to me about 10 times before I get it. But where I start paying attention is where agents are talking about it on social, and your name just kept coming up and up and up again all over these Facebook groups. And so, and I'll have to ask you, were you encouraging them to do that, or were they literally doing that off their own? But that's fantastic.
No, actually, it's funny you should say that. The only time we've encouraged people to do reviews is quite recently, and because obviously we're involved with the Kerfuffle team now.
Oh yeah, you've got to ask. And you've got to ask them to come on us. That's that.
No. But the nice thing is, you actually said, James, look, you need to reach out to your users and ask them to do these reviews. And we actually built something into the software quite recently that said, hey guys, if you're liking the software, could you do it?
Oh, that's brilliant. Even better.
But that was all organic. All at that beginning, that was all organic. We didn't have to prompt that. And I think that was amazing. And I was seeing the same names on, obviously I'm following the socials as well, and I was seeing the same names come up, and with people asking and people responding. It was amazing. And,
yeah, but you're watching it with a bag of popcorn, aren't you? Quite happily just watching those go out. That's lovely.
If I don't have to comment, it means that that what we thought about did the job. And I think with the pricing model, I mean, if I could just go back, the whole reason we did that was because as a techie, I consume lots of software as a service platforms, be it communications platforms, document editing, email platforms, and they're all very simple. They're all, it's monthly subscriptions. You can grow and shrink. There's no long-term commitments. And I was looking, when we initially started looking in the CRM market space back in 2019, late 2018, it was very difficult to figure out what the pricing was for CRMs. There certainly wasn't.
Still is, to be fair.
Yeah, true. I think maybe only other one platform at the time that I could find actually had the pricing on their website. I thought, no, that's not right. People want to know what they're going to get involved with from the beginning, and that's what we decided to do. Make it open and out there, so it was obvious. And traditional SaaS model as well. We don't need to sign customers up to a 12-month, 24-month contract. If our software is good and it's good value and we give good service, we don't need a contract.
People don't bounce from CRMs unless they, unless they're really unhappy with something, aren't they? Really, let's be honest, because that is the repository of everything you do there. If you look after them, half well, they're not going to bounce away. And actually, I've always thought trying to rely on them from, legal seems like a bit. It doesn't quite fit well for me. So I think you, again, clever move there. And I think what you've got there, haven't you, is you're taking, dare I say, you're taking the expectation level out as well, because there's a lot of these packages they're all probably aping now Salesforce, which we know famously is 120, 130 quid a user or anything else there. And a lot of the big boys have started going that, and they're certainly north of £50 there. And what's been interesting is actually those companies that way back when were good volume players, people will know the GMWs of the world, the Expert Agents, the Housescape Universals, those have largely been stripped out of the marketplace, leaving actually not many people with this kind of entry level, and dare I say it, what many people would say in their minds, a fair fee for what they think the CRM software is about.
Absolutely. And what we've tried to endeavour to do is to provide a complete CRM solution at an entry level price. Yeah. So just because, and I think this has probably hurt us more than anything, and that is our price is perhaps too low. And people think, well, hold on, how can you deliver a complete CRM solution at that price point? Yeah. And it's not until we get to give them a demo, or they speak with a potential customer, or one of our existing customers, or indeed do a MOT with you guys, that they learn and understand that actually, yeah, we are full featured. We have got all of the functionality that they need. It's just that we offer it at a great value.
Yeah, it's really clever, that is, as well. And because of that as well, when people feel they're getting a great value product, don't they? They are more likely to shout about it because they want to, they want to kind of spread the secret, don't they? So it's a canny angle there. So talk to us then, James, about, I mean, clearly it is a congested space out there. What did you go into it in mind with, apart from that really innovative model there? What was it in the software itself that you wanted to do differently compared to all the other players?
I think from Apex 27's perspective, it's all about the technology. Let's make the technology do the work, okay? Where we can automate things for the agents, that's what we want to do. We want to take the dull drudgery away from the agents and get that automated. And we want it a complete solution as well. So you're not having to fire up Microsoft Word to create your tenancy agreements or your memorandums of sales. It's all built into the platform. You're not having to download PDFs and upload them into DocuSign. It's integrations with all those other big pieces of prop tech. And I think moving forward, that is going to be our goal, is just to save time for the agent so that they can spend that time doing what they do best, and that is speaking to vendors, speaking to landlords, getting people on their books so that they can make money. And that's what our goal is, to be as unintrusive as possible, but to be there when they want us to be there.
Right.
So, in their phone, on their tablet, when they're on the beach on holiday, they need to find something out. They've got complete access no matter where they are. But also knowing that we're future-proof, that the platform is open. So they can connect it to other prop techs. We've had several prop tech platforms. If I can mention one, Movo, a friend of mine, Jamie Parks.
Jamie, great lads, yeah.
Absolutely, and they actually did an integration with Apex 27 without talking to me. They did all of the development work using our APIs. So now that whenever and Jamie, hello, whenever a tenant starts their journey with a lettings agency, Jamie's system knows that, and he can start reaching out to them and letting them know about all the deals about their broadband and making the agent's life easier, doing all the council tax stuff as well. And Movo were able to make that connection without us having to do any work. They just accessed our APIs and they can set it up for any of their customers. It's fantastic. And that's what I love about it, being that central source, and it can grow and it's there. And, you know, Jamie didn't have to pay us a penny because it's free for the customer and for the supplier as well. So.
And again, one of the big things you'll get there is Jamie's going to be your biggest fan, isn't he? He's going to be shouting about that left, right, and centre, because some of the, you know, it's in my, you know, back in my day, it was a bloody nightmare, obviously having to deal with all the, you know, so many companies coming to you. But you've clearly thought this through quite cleverly in terms of obviously. On the one level, when people hear self-service, they think, oh, bloody hell, but actually self-service done right is what people want these days, because it adds the immediacy and gets rid of the time blocker, doesn't it? Which is where most people get really frustrated.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, that's at the heart of Apex 27. Look, you can see at our business model. We can't afford to spend a lot of money on doing customer support. Yeah. We can't afford to spend a lot of money doing training. All of our users get a free training session. That's a free user, a paid for user. They all get a free training session. Yep. Absolutely right. We love to do that.
And is that done on Zoom? I mean, just talk to us.
Exactly like this. We do a lovely Zoom. It works really well. Most of our customers, they actually start their Apex 27 journey with a demo, and that's it. We might get a few support emails from them, but that's it. We don't have to communicate with them. We don't have to Zoom with them anymore, because the platform's that easy to use.
I was going to say that testifies to the simplicity of the product. If you can get in there, and by the way, look, I mean, I've had a good look at it. It is a really well thought out system there. I'd urge anyone to have a good look at it. I think you've. You know, I thought about this when obviously I left my previous ones, and apart from looking at competition clauses, which was the last bit, I just, at the end of the day, I just started thinking, it's mind-numbing how much, you know, you spoke about it yourself, it's a CRM system these days. These packages have a huge amount in them these days, don't they? And I mean, back in my day, you know, you do a match, you upload to Rightmove, I would walk out and take a check out of the demonstration. But these days, they really are behemoths, aren't they?
You need a lot more than that nowadays. You really do. And there's a lot there. And that's the difficulty, is to take all of that complexity and make it easy to use. Yeah. And if you can do that, then you're going to have a great system.
Yeah, because it's easy to have a simple system if there's not much depth in it, isn't there? But actually mixing those two together, combining that is the real talent, isn't it?
Indeed.
Okay, cool. So, where do you see yourself? Have you set yourself goals in terms of what you want to achieve? I mean, I think we said laughingly, obviously you've got world domination, as every good narcissistic business owner should have.
Simon, what do
you want to do?
We're on a journey, and this is, I think for me, this is probably one of the most interesting things, having already done a prop tech business, is I know it's a journey and it's going to take time. We can't rush this. We need to build our platform, and we need to build our reputation. Of course, we want to go to the big boys and say, hey guys, come and use our platform. We're a long way away from that. I know that, and that's fine. What I want to do is I want to slowly grow the business so that we don't stress our support teams, our training teams, our onboarding teams. We've got to make sure that we grow responsibly. But eventually, I want to get to the point where we are the CRM of choice. I'm sure we can do that, but it's going to take time. I remember my original prop tech business, I was reaching out to customers and they went, James, no, you're too small. We can't deal with you. You're not big enough. Yeah. And then a few years later, after I applied my, the customer service is the most important thing. Great value is the most important thing. Both most important. Eventually, those same customers that turned me away at the door started knocking at my door saying, hey, James, can we have a conversation? So I know if we keep on that path, that's where we're going to get to. So we're in no rush. We're in no rush. We're growing as a business, which is exactly what we need to do. We need to manage that growth, and I've done it before, and we're going to do it again with Apex 27, and we'll get there. It will take time, but that's fine. It's a fun journey to be on, Simon.
Yeah, it's great. And so one of the things I do, it's customer service, everyone talks about it, and the client comes first. but I can, it clearly is the case with you. When you've spoken about it, that because many businesses, when they first grow onto the market, we want every client there is. We'll take a Countrywide, we want a Connells, up and down us. But actually, especially in CRM, having one of those, the big kahunas, as it were, could actually set you back, couldn't it? And you've been really, I think, really well versed in that, taking it really, really steady to make sure that you do grow at the right pace. Because we've all seen other businesses out there, many have experienced it, where, actually, because it's become so popular, suddenly they can't keep up with that demand, and actually you end up with quite a difficult product to support. So, and obviously, again, going back to it, you just can't afford to have that with something as important as CRM, can you?
Absolutely not. That's why I love the self-service model, though, because it does mean that, customers, we have multiple sign-ups a day, multiple businesses coming onto Apex 27, signing up without even speaking to us. And the first we know they're actually using the platform, apart from the analytics, of course, is that we get an email from Rightmove asking us to set up a property feed, or Zoopla, or Booming, or on the market, saying, can you send us a feed for this customer? And we're like, we've never even demoed to them. And now they're at the point where they're sending out all their property matches, they're doing their portal uploads, and all of a sudden, we've got communications from Let's Pay. We've got new land, we've got lettings agents that want to integrate with their virtual banking systems. And the first we hear from them is those communications from the other prop tech providers. So we must be doing something right.
Yeah, it is. What you've done there quite cleverly, actually, is, although you don't call it as much, with that first user coming free, it's ostensibly a trial. But here's the thing, actually, if you were doing a trial normally, that wouldn't really work, because actually to test these packages properly, they need to have the data in there. So you've turned it around on its head, haven't you? But actually, you're getting them into the same process, aren't they? They're evaluating this before they've really had to commit to the full spend, which again is a really neat way of doing it.
It's working for us, Simon.
Good. Yeah. Well, people should be shamelessly nicking your model, but just copyright whatever you can do. Anyway, that's my advice.
No, do you know what? I think it would be great if other people did.
Would be. No, there'd be a lot to be said for that, wouldn't it? If that was I mean, first of all, the transparent pricing, the ability to get on board, with a freemium model at one hand, transparency of data as well. The access to the data. If you haven't got a logo yet, it should be a knight on shining armor or something.
Thank you, Simon. Take that one under advisement.
I'm not a marketing person, as you can tell. Just give us a recap. Just recap though for us. So obviously a very new company, but where are you at in terms of customers? What stage of evolution are you?
That's a great question. So without going into too much details, we've had over 900 accounts created on the platform. And we have active users, probably 700 active users on the platform.
That's really good. So again, just to recap then, so that's really just over it with just the hard launch in 2020.
Yes.
Yeah, very impressive.
Yes.
It's not going to be long before you start getting some bids, Tony, on that basis. I should ask you there, doing my Mr. Prop Tech Paxman thing there. Are you in this? I mean, obviously everyone's got an exit at some stage, but for you, you are genuinely looking at this as a 5-year plan?
No, longer. With Drag and Drop Limited, we're still an active business.
Yeah.
Is the business that has actually enabled me to start and run Apex 27. For me, Drag and Drop and Apex 27 is what I like to call a lifestyle business.
Yeah.
That is a business that I can use to grow, albeit with partners now, as opposed to, okay, let's get 3 years, let's spin it off and sell it. Let's see what we can get from these property investment companies.
Yeah.
That isn't my. I like to grow a business. I like to keep my hands on it and mold it and keep it going.
Well, that'll resonate with a lot of people out there, won't it? Because a lot of people do, I know, kind of roll their eyes. Look, it's the way of the world, so we can't complain too much, can we? But actually, to have that stability of dealing with the people that you signed up with for, as I said, everything changes, but for the foreseeable is quite. I think again we'll get a big.
Indeed, Simon. Everything does change, and let's be honest. If somebody came with a big pot of cash. Yeah. What would I do? I'm not stupid. I would take the big pot of cash. but that is not the goal.
This wasn't that clause to try and catch you out there, and I'll come back in years and say you said you weren't going to do it. You get the dosh, you take it. Because let's face it, every one of them would who's watching this as well.
And who could blame them? Not me, that's for sure. But no, the goal is it's a lifestyle business. You know, we can grow it, we can hopefully become very, very profitable, and that's the idea. That's what software companies should do.
Well, if you look after the clients, it just follow, doesn't it? And that's
absolutely,
it's a wonderful rule of business. That just talk to us though about the actual kind of the software itself, just so I understand. Obviously, because it's really important, and people don't sort of people always feel, I think, that sometimes people oversell the CRM software. But the one thing that can be absolutely deadly to a business, to take on clients and then having to get workarounds for different areas. So let's just understand what it does do and what it doesn't. So you're obviously it's robust on both the sales side, on the sales side. I know you do lettings. How much of the lettings process does it actually do?
So we do the lettings financials as well.
Great.
So exactly. I mentioned earlier on our integration with Let's Pay, which is absolutely amazing, because that saves that agents so much time and hassle reconciling their bank accounts if they have the Let's Pay. We have bank accounts.
It's a really, and if for people who haven't seen it, handles the rental payments, doesn't it? So you've got complete cradle to grave functionality then with those two working together.
Absolutely, and landlord reporting, it gives them all the statements and reports they need for all their end of year stuff, but also property management. So we have all the property management functionality in there for lettings agents as well, from certificates, management to inspections. We have a client portal, which I think is an absolute must, which is where the landlord
in this day and age, isn't it? I mean, I think it used to be a nice to have, but it's really stepping away from that. With the way things have gone with online banking and everything else, there you're going to get left behind the curve, aren't you?
Exactly. The platform's got built-in chat, so that if you've got a tenant who's got a problem, they can come on, they can start chatting with agents wherever they are. If you've ever used help desk software, you know what I'm talking there. And they can report issues, and those issues can be managed through from the initial report with videos and photos, assigned to contractors, invoices managed from that, contractors' invoices. It covers the whole gambit. Absolutely the whole gambit. We do prospecting, leads, obviously all of the leads from the major portals where
I was going to say, what, you have the facility to get them into the software?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, and it automatically creates property matches based upon the properties that the applicants are inquiring about as well. The other cool thing is the integrated call tracking and text messaging. Now, we don't nickel and dime our customers, Simon. This is really important. Everything that we've just talked about is included, all the websites, all of the lettings management.
So just to be clear again, for that £30, you're getting all of that?
All of that. We don't nickel and dime. There is only one instance where we charge a bit more, and that is if our customers want to use our built-in call tracking or our built-in text messaging. And
because those obviously have external costs.
We use a system called Twilio. You may have heard of it.
Yeah.
They're a very powerful calling API system, and we just pass those costs on because we think they're so useful. We don't even mark those up.
You're not even making a little, half a p here.
No, because we want our customers to use them. So, on average, a phone call is a penny a minute, and a text message is 2.2 pence.
Hang on a minute, James. This is all sounding too good to be true here. I'm waiting for the Dr. Evil moment when you're going to pull the cat up.
$1 million. No, not at all. It's all included. And
very refreshing. Agents love it. It's very refreshing. And I'll tell you again, going back to it is, a lot of salespeople out there with various, not just CRM prop techs, if we're honest, the sales guys seem to have lost control and knowledge of their own pricing structures. And I understand to a degree, it is understandable because people try to get fairness into the model, but that ends up then, with, like, as you said, the kind of nickel and dime thing. Well, actually, there is a cost for that and everything else. And unfortunately, once you've got that in there, it adds a level of suspicion, doesn't it? Because people think, hang on, I need to understand that, and I need to understand that, and is there something not right going on here? So you've taken all that away from them.
And look, things have been tough for some agents over the past few months, obviously. And what it's not a great thing to see for me from a business perspective, but from a human perspective, I've seen customers that have come on board with 3 or 4 members of staff, and they've shrank down to the original owner, and that original owner now is using the software for free. But he's obviously using it for free because his business has contracted.
Yeah.
And you know,
but you know, the way it goes, it'll go the other way, won't it?
Exactly. And we've stood by him, and they will stand by us. And that's what
that's a really, again, coming back to your model there. Again, I keep going, oh, sorry, I do come back, but there's so many things about it there, because you know what actually some of the nicer suppliers did when there was obviously certainly, well, when Corona hit, was they were proactive and they cut their costs. But you've almost built that already into the model, isn't it? That actually, yes, as you've said, users can be taken off at any time, and if it goes down to the, you know, it's literally kind of it needs stasis kind of almost there, quite happily use that, work along with it, and then rebound as you need to. So it flexes, doesn't it?
Indeed. And it works well for the customers. They know exactly what they're going to be paying at the end of the month.
Now, okay, well, I know where I'm going to get you. So does this extend through to things like on the onboarding? What about the data conversion? Because data conversion, surely it can't be self-service, can it?
No, you can't do that. We do a charge for that. It's £500 one-off to import the data as many times as the customer needs it. And the reason I say as many times as the customer needs it, we've had these journeys with our customers now, quite a few. We've been importing from quite a few platforms recently that seem to be either shutting down or being talked about being shut down. Okay. And what we tend to do is when they want to onboard with us, we give them a nice document that explains the whole onboarding process. We will import their data once so that they can log into Apex 27 and have a look at it. They need to check it, make sure everything looks okay. Now, we've done loads of migrations already, Simon, as you probably understand it. It's something that we have to do, and it takes time, and time is the one thing that we can't give away for free. So that's why we make the charge. But we've got the imports written for the vast majority of other.
I was going to say, have you got them for all the main guys, basically?
We are, but for some reason they seem to change.
Okay.
We have noticed.
Yeah.
So it does take a little bit of effort, but what we do is we import all the data. We then sit down and have a review with the customer to make sure that the data that we've imported is what they were expecting. So we do a stare and compare, old CRM, Apex 27, have we brought across all of the pictures, the EPCs, maintenance issues, if it's a lettings property, tenancies, all of that kind of stuff, you know, making sure we've got all the history there as well.
That's massive. That's really massive, because actually a lot of the time, everyone, all you know, the CRMs talk about data conversions and everything else, but actually a lot of the time they just kind of dump it and go live, don't you? And it's kind of without almost that mapping of the data in, you know, as what did you call it? Stare and compare, was it?
Well, exactly. And look, this is the important thing. Different users of different CRMs. Sorry. So if you've got two users, they've both got the CRM, they might be using it differently.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And it can be configured differently. So we would expect an address field to go in one place, but they'd be expecting it to go into another because they were using it in a different way. So that's why we do the stare and compare. It doesn't take long, 20, 30 minutes. And look, Simon, the reason we can do this is if we're importing data, then they're going to be an established agent already because they've already been set up. And invariably, because they're an established agent, they've got more than one user, which means there's subscription revenue there for us.
That makes sense, yeah.
And like, as you well know, it's not a process that agents want to go through every month, switching CRMs.
No. And it's one that's, again, very suspicious. People, agents often think that the data conversion and certainly cost around it is you know, people are price gouging essentially, but the level of work that goes, I can't stress enough. I mean, I'm no techie, but I used to see how long, you know, to build these, to map them effectively, to keep in touch with the latest versions, to do different iterations, to understand how, as you said, the individual agent is using it to make sure that's there, you know, bringing it all to foot. There's a massive amount of work that's involved there. So for £500, that is very good value to be able to.
We like to think so. And the other big problem sometimes is the breakdown in relationships between the agent coming on board and their existing supplier, and that can create a little bit of animosity, which is unfortunate sometimes. I remember giving you a quote for your little booklet that you did that you post on social media, and as much as I want customers to come to Apex 27, I think that's really important about relationships. Is always have a conversation with your existing supplier first of all. Because if you've got a problem you want to leave, and obviously I'd like to think my customers would do this with me, have a chat with them first of all. Because it could be a problem that's so easily solved over the phone that, you know, you're just sitting there thinking it's the end of the world, and it might not be.
Yeah.
That's what I hope my customers would feel. So
you're giving them good advice again, though, aren't you? And they'll thank you for that, and probably in the long term they'll, you know, come back to you if the other guys don't live up to the promise anyway.
Indeed, Simon.
So just so I'm clear on that, though, would that be, is it 500 quid per database, or is it per office? If they're a 4-office firm, is it £2,000, or is it?
No, it'll be per account. So if they've got 4 branches, 6 branches, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's per account.
Okay, well, that's cool. Okay, cool. Is there any stuff, any major stuff that you can't bring across in the conversion? Because I think
the only thing that we recommend is with lettings financials. What we suggest is that we basically have we call it our financial start date.
Yeah.
So we would say we will bring across the balances.
Opening and closing balances, is it? Is that what you need to go through? Yeah, that makes sense. Otherwise, I mean, that's just because otherwise that's just so fiercely complex, isn't it? The price would have to go through the roof, wouldn't it?
It would be a nightmare because lots of CRMs handle tenancies and rental payments in so many different ways. To map it properly wouldn't work. It would, as you said, it would just be so much work. It'd be easy to type it in manually.
And we spoke about, obviously, you know, just the core functionality there. Where are you with things like departments? For example, do you touch commercial at all? Do you do land and new homes? Do you do rural? What about these more niche departments, or is this part of the growth track for you as a business?
No, I'm glad you touched on that. Thank you very much, Simon. When you sign up, you get to say what kind of services you offer. Do you do commercial sales, lets? Do you do auctions? Yeah. Do you do new homes? And then as you tick the boxes, we expose more of Apex 27 to the users when they log in.
But there is functionality in there that helps all of those different areas.
Absolutely, yes. Right. I mean, we've worked with, you know, your traditional agents, of course, but then you've got agents that deal with buying and selling HMOs and buy-to-lets and things like that as businesses. Yeah. So we also have that functionality built in as well. And the auction side. So not the modern method of auction, the traditional side of auctions.
Yeah, that's great. So to have that in again at such an early stage is really impressive. And I'm looking here, and as ever, I always encourage everybody, go to kerfuffle.com and just put in Apex 27 there, see their landing page. They've got some blistering reviews in there. Again, remember, these are always from named people. We validate them against real businesses. It's absolutely great here. It says Mark Walmsley here from The Way to Move here. Great initial experience after the first week. You're not doing badly if you already, because that's often when some of the unfunny stuff that comes out. Very impressed with Apex 27, the efficiency of the support team there. Both the mobile functionality and the desktop seem ideal. Very happy so far and during this initial period. Very happy to recommend there. This one's quite an interesting one, might resonate with a few as well. This is from Paul Edwards of Province Lettings and Estates. A CRM company was finally delivered was the title. My last CRM was bought out by a larger competitor, and despite promise after promise, the new platform let my business down. I searched over and over, and no CRM could deliver what I required to run my business until I stumbled across Apex 27. Firstly, who are they? Free. Something didn't seem right. And this is what I was talking about earlier, wasn't it? About how wrong I was. I signed up online and followed the guide to onboarding. I had a few issues with how to record rent, and I made use of the free 1-hour training session. John was amazing and patient and delivered without stutter a training session. I feel confident that the support given will remain well into the future. It looks complex, but once you have a good look around, it has everything an agent requires to complete the management tasks. Has a few hidden surprises too, which help me streamline my time and energy into finding new business. Would I recommend Apex 27? Absolutely yes. Finally, a system that works and in price comparison blows the other mediocre platforms out of the equation. Thank you, Apex 27. I mean, that's, first of all, Paul, thank you for that. I love reading reviews like that.
No relation, by the way, Simon. No relation to me.
Yeah. Make that point. That's really good. And look, as I just said, go and have a look through there. There's a load of them in there, and I think that's really important that you get the context. Always do your homework, especially. I mean, you should do it for any supplier, shouldn't you? But certainly for CRM, make sure you talk to as many people as you possibly can do. Really. So that's really cool. So what else should we expect then from you guys? Obviously, you've got a heavy. How often do you do releases and things like that?
Once a week, Simon. Once a week.
Once a week.
And this amazes our customers, the fact that we can deliver not just bug fixes, because look, it's a piece of software, there's always going to be bugs. We fix those bugs and we fix them promptly, but also new features. And I'm not just talking about the odd little button here or there, I'm talking about features that actually are meaningful as well. Yeah. So, once a week is our goal. We have a salesman's favorite phrase. We've got an amazing roadmap. Yeah. And I think that's something I always tell people to be cautious of, is when a piece of software says we've got this thing on our roadmap.
When I found myself showing it in PowerPoint, I knew I'd probably gone over to the dark side. That was mine. And look, you put on a fantastic deal for Kerfuffle members as well. I have to think. I almost feel I feel a bit cheap at having given how much you've already said you've been doing. But all Kerfuffle members are entitled to 3 months of the free multi-user accounts as well. So not just in terms of that original there, they can really get on board and do that. So thank you for that. That's fantastic. So I encourage anyone to take advantage of that. Go on, have a look at it as well. There's much more information on there, talked about their onboarding integrations and everything else as well. So okay, I mean, this is sounding really, really good, James. Really good. Sounds I can see why you thought there was a different angle there. You clearly thought through this. What do you think your biggest blocker is in terms of getting you to where you need to be with this? Is it the data versions?
Our maturity. We're a young business, and quite rightly, established agencies are going to be nervous about using a business such as Apex 27 with a small track record, a little less track record as we have. And I totally get that. As I said, I've already gone through that pain, and there's nothing I can do other than to be here again in 2 years' time and say, do you know what? We've proven that what we're doing is working.
But I'm guessing as well, I mean, what you can do there, and I'm sure you're already doing this, is, you can be working with those larger ones as well anyway, can't you? Almost in a pseudo project stage, can't you? So what's your concern? Well, at the moment in our package, we do XYZ automation. Well, as and, yes, we don't might not have that at the moment, but as and when you deliver that, that's a nice update, isn't it? To be talking with that agent. And literally that kind of almost that list of blockers just disappears away over time, doesn't it?
We are having those conversations already.
I thought, I wasn't teaching you to suck eggs, but I've made myself famous by repeating the obvious.
We're not rushing it. We don't need to rush, Simon. We're going to be taking our time, and we're going to be delivering a great solution, and eventually world domination.
Great. Well, that's what we want to do. So let me recap here. 3 takeaways here. You've got a unique business model, and it really is unique, and it's well worth looking into as well for anyone else. So you're not nickel and diming. Couldn't be easier to understand in terms of the price. A big one there. Constantly being updated. I mean, literally weekly updates. That's a fantastic angle there. Rather than some people, it kind of feels like you're waiting for an ice age to change, isn't it? And then that other angle there. You should be getting as many calls, I would imagine, from other tech suppliers looking to get on board with this as well. So open to integrations with the prop tech businesses, saving time and money. So that's a really key ethos there. Great stuff. I've got a feeling I want to be talking to some of your clients in one of our next webinars. James,
we will make that happen, and I'm sure I've got quite a few that will be more than happy to talk to you. Obviously, but let's give what's his name, Peter, a call.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, no, I can challenge him on that and say, for in terms of that. So that's a fantastic one. No, it's brilliant. Absolutely great. Anybody who's interested, reach out to James. What's your email again, just for people there?
James@apex27.co.uk.
There you go, guys. Or obviously go to on kerfuffle.com and you can ask a question or ask for a demonstration, and we'll pass that through to the guys and they'll get in contact. Just mention you're obviously a Kerfuffle member if you want to take advantage of that fantastic deal. Right, well, for today, thank you very much. I feel like I know a lot more about it in my specialist subject, so I can bluff a few more people now.
Awesome. Simon, thanks so much for your time.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Cheers.